How's it going, people? Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. For today's video, we're going to take a look at 10 things that we used to have but are no longer in Save the World. But before we get into it, I did want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been using creator code A1. Also, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a like on it. Anyways, the first item that was removed from Save the World that we're going to take a look at is the patrol ward. So for those who don't know what the patrol ward was, it was a trap that was used to prevent patrols from spawning within the range of the patrol ward. So basically you would place one down and it would prevent husks from spawning within the radius of the patrol ward. It wouldn't prevent all husks from spawning. Like if you were to escort the bomb on Deliver the Bomb, for example, you would still get husks to spawn during the escort, but it was mainly supposed to stop the spawns of random patrols that spawned from the storm. But even then, I don't think it really worked all of the time. You would still get some random husks to spawn in even if you placed it down. But eventually, the patrol ward got replaced by the anti-air trap sometime within Chapter 2, Season 1. Next up, we have the drift board. And the way you would be able to find it in Save the World is by just looking at your mini-map. You would see like a drift board symbol. It can only seat one player. You will be able to move forward, backwards, as well as jump and boost for a short burst of speed. And you can also lean backwards and forwards while you're in the air to build up a trick score. The drift boards in Save the World did move a little bit slower than the ones that were in BR. We didn't really have the drift board for long in Save the World, and I believe we only got it once. Next up, we have the OG blasters. Now, if I had to describe the old blasters, I would say they look exactly like regular husk, but taller and purple. They also shot lasers, but as you can tell, they used to look a lot different than they do today. Anyways, next up we have purple husk, and I actually forgot these things even existed. And these purple husk were the original nature husk before they were changed to yellow. And honestly, I think they look pretty cool. I wouldn't necessarily say bring them back to replace the nature husk, but maybe you could add like a new element, perhaps like a dark element, and give them some sort of special ability like the other elemental husk have. They don't even have to be here year round, right? Maybe you can just have them included in certain events, but I wouldn't mind seeing the return of purple husk in Save the World. Next up, we have the Lost in Transit mission. And this is another mission that was only around for a limited amount of time. The description that came with it said you have 15 minutes to rescue 5 trucks and update their GPSs to send them on their way. Some will be surrounded by the enemy, others will be under attack or need refueling. Most of the area is covered in a storm and the safe area is on the move. Rescue all of the trucks and survive the storm until evacuation. So on the loading screen it said find the supply trucks. You'll only have 15 minutes. You'll also have to clear the area because Husk want supplies for themselves. And you'll also have to update the C-Bot's GPS. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just a little bit of gameplay of it. If you would like to see more gameplay of Lost in Transit, be sure to check out the link in the description. But this wasn't really a difficult mission. I was able to solo it pretty easily. And I believe this mission was added the same time Eliminate and Collect was added. But Eliminate and Collect stayed while this one ended up being removed. So here's what that supply truck looked like. And there were 3 different types of defenses you would have. For one defense, you would have to just kill 50 enemies. For another type of defense, you would have to clear 2 waves of enemies. And for the third type, you would just have to get 2 blue glow and put them in the truck to refuel it. So you would have to do one of those 3 things at each of the 5 supply trucks. And once you rescued the 5th and final supply truck, you would just have to wait for the remaining time to run out. And that wasn't the only mission type that we've had removed. There was another called Beta Storm Test the Limits, and here's what the mission looked like in Twine Peaks. And for this one, you would have to locate the starting gate, travel to the start finish line, then you'll have to optimize for speed, clear your path and add speed boost. Then you have to go fast and try to complete as many laps as possible. So as soon as you load it into the mission, you would be given 7 minutes to find the start and finish line, as well as all of the checkpoints that you'll have to go through. And during that 7 minutes, you would have to build a racetrack to help you get through those checkpoints as quickly as possible. Once those 7 minutes are up, you'll then have to start at the start finish line. go through each of the checkpoints, and return back to the start finish line. And you would have to do that as many times as you can until the mission ended. We did an entire live stream on YouTube, which I'll leave a link to in the description if you'd like to check out more gameplay of it. And it was actually a really fun mission, in my opinion. For one, it's the only racing type of mission we have in Save the World. And for two, it was pretty laid back compared to the other mission types we have. So I actually enjoyed this mission, and I kind of wish they would have kept it, or at least maybe one or two in each zone, just so we could have a little more variety when it comes to missions. But yeah, this is another mission that was removed. Next up, we have the limited versus ultimate upgrade editions. Now, for those who don't know, there used to be upgraded editions for Save the World. One was called Limited, which cost $30. And here's a list of everything you would get from it. You would get epic weapons, legendary heroes, troll stash llamas. We also got extra backpack inventory slots, got an extra account inventory slot, giftable XP boost for your friends, XP boost for you, exclusive in-game banner icons, immediate loot pinata packs, daily loot pinata packs, as well as exclusive founders loot pinata packs. And here's all the rewards I got from that limited edition. You can see the banners as well that we got from it. You would also get the option to choose one of 4 hero bundles, one of them being the Constructor bundle, which gave you Power Base Kyle, Power Base Penny, and the Founders Deconstructor. You also had the Ninja bundle, which gave you Lotus Assassin Ken, Lotus Assassin Sarah, and the Blazing Masamune. We also had the Outlander bundle, which gave you Phase Scout AC and Phase Scout Jess, as well as the Founders Quick Shot. And you also had the Soldier bundle, which gave you Special Forces Jonesy, Special Forces Ramirez, and the Founders Drumroll. So you would be given the option to choose between one of those 4 with the limited edition. And if you upgraded to the Ultimate Edition, then you would be given all 4 of those bundles. And here's a list of everything else that was included in the Ultimate Edition. So we ended up getting more exclusive Founders Loot Pinata Packs, more daily loot pinata packs, immediate loot pinata packs, exclusive in-game banner icons, XP boost, giftable XP boost for your friends, extra account inventory slots, legendary troll stash llamas, exclusive legendary heroes, exclusive epic weapon, more backpack inventory slots, exclusive super rare Ramirez rifle, which is the Nocturno, and we also got transform keys. Speaking of transform keys, that's another item that we no longer have in Save the World. And for those who don't know what transform keys are, they were used to convert items of a certain rarity into another item. And these transform keys could come in any rarity. You could get them as a reward from the main quest line. And like I showed earlier, you can also get transform keys from the upgraded editions. And I believe you could also get transform keys as rewards from the collection book, if I'm not mistaken. But the way it worked was you would grab 5 items in your inventory that you no longer want, and then use those to transform them into whatever your transform key was. So if it was a legendary hero, you would use 5 items that you no longer want and transform them into a legendary hero. Another way you can get transform keys, I believe, is from your daily login. Speaking of which, daily logins are another thing that's no longer in Save the World. And that was removed recently, so I'm sure most of y'all already know about it. But for those who don't, basically every time you logged in to Save the World, you would get a daily reward. And that reward could be anything from a free llama, to XP boost, to evolution materials, to hero and weapon schematics, to even V-Bucks. I'd say on average you get V-Bucks once a week, and that could range anywhere from 150 V-Bucks to 300 V-Bucks, all the way up to 1,000 V-Bucks. I believe every 336 days you would get 1,000 V-Bucks. And not only have daily logins been removed, but Founders daily logins have also been removed, and you would get Founders daily rewards by purchasing one of the upgraded editions. But those would give you the same rewards as well as Founders weapons. So those are a couple of other things that are no longer in Save the World. Believe it or not, Save the World used to have a skill tree. And I don't really remember all of the details of it, but I do have a little bit of gameplay of it to show you what it looked like. You could also increase your inventory slots from the skill tree. But yeah, it's been a long time since we've had this skill tree, and I honestly don't remember a whole lot about it. But you can see some of the skills you can unlock in this video. Alright, so before we move any further, I did want to show a couple of honorable mentions. Here we have the OG loading screen. Here's what the old wall launcher used to look like before they put the big PewDiePie fist on it. Here's some gameplay of the old UI and what that used to look like. And you can also see the old hero loadouts before the hero loadouts got reworked. So instead of having 5 heroes in your support team, we used to only have 2 heroes in your support team. Global chat is another thing that was removed from Save the World. I know this is going to sound weird, but believe it or not, you could talk to people who weren't in your lobby or your party, whom you've never met, not in your friends list. Like, you could talk to anybody in the global chat. People mainly used it to trade though. There was also a founders chat. So if you purchased one of the upgraded editions, you could talk to other founders and ignore all of the regular people in the global chat. But most people use the global chat for trading. I believe there was also bots spamming links to websites, and eventually it got removed. But global chat used to be a real thing, people. Anybody else remember when Retrieve the Data used to be a 2x2 instead of a 1x1? Does anybody else remember that? The last thing I wanted to show that's no longer in Save the World are the original Challenge the Horde modes and the original Frost Night, which used to be called Survive the Storm. So the first time we got Challenge the Horde, it was in this Plankerton style biome. Before you load in and do it though, you would have to go to the initial staging area where you build your defense. And once you're satisfied with your build, you would then load in to Challenge the Horde. And there would be 4 different locations you would have to defend. For one wave, you'll have to defend one person's build. For the next wave, you would have to defend the next person's build. And basically, you would have to do that for every wave until it ends. The initial Challenge the Horde also included a skill tree, which would allow you to build more around your base and give you more materials in between each wave. Here are some of the rewards you could earn from the lower level Challenge the Horde. And for some waves, you'll have to kill like a certain amount of enemies. I believe for other waves, you just had to survive for a certain amount of time. And you could also get modifiers in between each wave. But yeah, that was the first Challenge the Horde we got. We also got a Challenge the Horde the very next year, but this one was in a different biome. The second one we got was sort of in a desert biome. And I remember the main strategy people used for this Challenge the Horde was spamming Kyle the 13th's decoy ability. Basically, if everybody on your team had Kyle the 13th, you have one person lay down their decoy, distract all the husks, and then when that decoy goes away, you would have the second person place down their decoy to distract all the husks. Once theirs goes away, the third person would do theirs, and then the fourth person would do theirs, and then you start all over again at the first person, and you would just distract the husk for the entire wave. And I remember that being a really popular strategy for this second Challenge the Horde. But the rules were pretty much the same as the first one. You had to build your initial defense in the staging area, then you would load in the Challenge the Horde, and then you would have to defend one of the bases for each of the waves. And the last one I wanted to go over was the Survive the Storm, which is Frost Knight's predecessor. And there were different versions of Survive the Storm. You'd have like a 3-day version, which took about 40-50 minutes. Then you'd have a 7-day version, as well as a 14-day version, which took like 4 hours. For this one, you was able to build during the day, but you would have to defend at night. Let's see, in this gameplay, it lasted 8 minutes and 35 seconds for night 3. So you would have to defend for like at least 8 minutes. There was also some special rewards that you could earn from this. I believe the Hydra was one of them. I believe you could also get some banners as well. But as you can tell, this wasn't on a winter map. It was just like a regular Save the World map. So it's not exactly like Frost Night, but this is sort of what Frost Night looked like before it got its own unique map. I guess this is sort of like the first version of it. But yeah, that sums up all of the things we're going to go over for this one. Let me know what you think about some of these items that never returned to Save the World. And if there's any that you would like to return, let me know about those as well. Again, before I go, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been using creator code A1. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.